Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am here creating a Christmas card and shaker tag set for the Team Tiny November 2022 hop. I will tell you a little bit more about that as we go through, but let's get straight in. Let's get started. I have pulled out this Pawsome Stamps Chunky Sweater Stencil. I love this stencil and I thought it would be perfect for the card that I'm making today. So I have a piece of Bristol smooth cardstock, which I've cut to slightly larger than 5.5 by 4.25, because I'm going to trim this down with a stitched die later. But what I am doing is I am masking off kind of stripes of knit, if that makes sense. And I'm going in with this Concord and 9th Clover ink. It's this beautiful Christmassy green ink. I'm doing one stripe and then I'm going to lift this tape up and I'm going to figure out where I need to kind of lay it down again to get my next stripe. Just making sure I really need to invest in some of this pixie spray for my stencil to hold it down. I don't have any, so it does shift around a little bit when I move my tape. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful next time. But then I am masking off my kind of next stripe, if you like, to use so I can blend in some more of that green ink. And I'm going to do alternating red and green stripes. So just making sure I've got enough tape down there to cover up the pieces that I don't want to be green. And then I'm going to go back in with that same Clover ink. And I will do this for one more kind of stripe of knit. So I'll lift up that piece of tape, I'll shift it across and do that last little piece on the edge there. As I say, I am going to be trimming this piece down when I'm finished. So I'm not too worried about the kind of edges so much. Right, once the green was done, I'm then going to shift my tape over again and I'm going to pull out some Concord and 9th Cranberry ink, which again is a gorgeous Christmassy red and perfect for this Christmas themed card that I'm creating today. So as I said, I'm doing this for Team Tiny. If you've not heard of Team Tiny before, we are a group of paper crafting YouTubers who have a Facebook group, and we come together to do hops in order to try and boost our channels a little bit, create a little bit more exposure, just support each other and have a lot of fun doing so. We are all smaller paper crafting channels of less than 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to hop along and support us on our paper crafting journeys, we would love to see you along in our channels, and you might find some crafters that you've not heard of before, and just, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So to join in, all you need to do is either click the link that I've left below or search up in YouTube hashtag Team Tiny November 2022 hop, and you will find all the other videos for this hop. So I have, as I said, trimmed that piece of card out with a stitched rectangle. I've then used the Lawn Fawn outside in stitched star Stackables die set, and I've used the largest star from that set to cut an aperture in the middle of my card. But I'm not going to throw away that piece that I've cut out. I'm going to use both of the negative and positive pieces that I've created here. So I'm starting with the actual card that I'm going to create, and I've just laid down some double-sided sticky tape all the way around the edge of that star aperture. And I'm using a piece of acetate here to stick on the back because I'm going to create a shaker. If you have followed my channel at all, you will know that I love a shaker. I find them so easy to make, and it's a great way to use these kind of aperture pieces. And I also have the Lawn Fawn stitched star frame, which coordinates perfectly with the stitched star Stackables. So I can create a frame which I can use as the kind of topper for my shaker here. So I'm going around all the way around the edge of that with some double-sided tape again. And I have used that same die that I've created the aperture from my card to cut out some acetate in the star shape, so it's exactly the right size. And I'm going to lay that on top of this frame to create the kind of top of my shaker piece. So peeling off all the sticky double-sided tape backing, which is always easier said than done, once I'm finished, I've got this star piece, and I'm going to try and lay it on as best I can. I don't get it perfectly, so I do have to do a slight bit of trimming around the edges. It's not too bad. I probably could have left it, but I kind of wanted to try and make it as neat and flush with that edge as possible. So once that is done, here are my little critters. Now these come from the Ugly Sweater stamp set, which is a new one just released by Pawsome Stamps. It is absolutely gorgeous. You have the little koala bear and the little bear and a load of different ugly sweaters to dress them with, along with a few hats and accessories as well. And I call them ugly sweaters. They're not really ugly. I think they're kind of cute, and I would definitely wear something like this at Christmas time. So I'm just dressing my little critters. I'm using some tape runner here to add the jumpers to them and their little hats, or in this case of this little bear, his little reindeer antlers. And I've just got them all wearing a slightly different jumper. And one's got trees on it, one's got baubles on it, and the other one has got a little word saying holly jolly, which I just thought was really, really cute. Once that's done, here is the kind of backing piece for my card. But before I do anything else, I need to add my foam tape. So I have this amazing Heffy Doodle foam tape strips. I love this stuff. It is the perfect height for shakers. So you don't need to double up your foam tape. It's a perfect height. Everything moves around lovely with it, and it's just really easy to use. And obviously the edges of my card are quite thin because of that star aperture there. So I used the thinnest pieces on either edge, and then I'm going in with the thicker pieces to go around the star shape. I'm doing this because I don't want my shaker pieces to be flying around all the way through the back of the card, if that makes sense. I just want them concentrated where this aperture is. So I'm just making sure that I get everything flush together, so there's no big gaps for my sequins to kind of fall out of. And once I'm happy with that, I'll just use the remaining pieces and add some foam tape to the top and bottom of this card panel as well. I don't want my card to be droopy in any places, so that's why I'm adding this. And then any little extra pieces I'll just add on to make sure that my card stays up nicely. Once that's done, I'm going to pull out my little powder tool here, and I'm just going to run around the edges of that star to make sure that I've got rid of any excess stickiness, so that my sequins can move around nicely and that they don't get stuck in any of the foam tape. Here are the sequins that I'm using. I absolutely adore the sequin mix. This is from Pawsome Stamps, and it's called the Holly Jolly Sequins. Very fitting with my Holly Jolly jumper that I've got over there. And I just thought that they were beautiful for this Christmas card in lovely shades of gold, red and green, and match perfectly with my little outfits on my bears. So pulled up all the backing pieces, I'm laying down my card on top, and once that is done, I have my card front complete. I'm just going to trim off the bottom there because I didn't quite get it lined up perfectly, but that is the front of my card complete. I just need to attach my little images on top. So I'm going to use one of the little koala and one of the little bear, and they're going to sit there. And I also have the sentiment, which I've cut from the stamp set, and I've coloured it in with a green. I wasn't sure about what to do with this. I was going to leave it white. I felt like it got a little bit lost. I'm not sure it really pops with the green, but I thought it was better than the white. So I just used the same shade that I had used on the jumpers. And the sentiment says, "May your sweaters be ugly and bright." I just thought that was kind of fun. So I'm just using my tape runner there again, sticking down my little critters, sticking down my sentiment, and that is the base, the front of my card done. I just need to attach it to a card base. So I am just fiddling around with the sentiment there. I wanted to get it centered properly, and I felt like I hadn't done a very good job. I'm just pulling out my adhesive eraser here to make sure I get rid of any messy little bits of glue that I had left on, and giving it a bit of a rub, and obviously shaking it around because you can't resist shaking a shaker card. And before I do mount that onto my card base, I'm going to go ahead and do my little star shaker tag. So I'm going around the edge of this one with some foam tape again. I'm just using the thin foam tape from Heffy Doodle. Again, it's perfect. It is really easy to kind of maneuver around these little corners and edges of the star. and I really rate it. So if you haven't tried this foam tape, definitely go and check it out. So I'm just got one little gap there that I need to fill in, and just be careful, as I say, that you kind of butt the tape up to each other so that there are no gaps. You don't want your sequins or shakers to kind of fall out. Once that is done, again, I'm going back in with that powder tool, and I'm going to use exactly the same sequin mix that I used for the card, this gorgeous Holly Jolly sequin mix, which is just perfect. Add a few sequins in there. I tend to go quite sparse with my sequins. I find that they just move around a bit better. You get a bit more of a shaking sound when you move them around, and I kind of like it like that. But obviously you can add as many or as few as you like. I'm going to add that patterned piece, the bit that I stenciled, onto the back of that, and make sure it's all secured down, and then I can go ahead and glue my little koala bear onto the front of that one. So I'm not going to put a sentiment onto this tag because I'm just going to put a little sentiment on the back. So I've cut another piece of that just plain white cardstock from that star shape, and I have a piece of red and white twine here which I'm going to attach using some double-sided tape. So I'm going to sandwich that between this shaker piece that I've made and this white piece of cardstock, just using that double-sided tape to hold down the kind of cord that I've used. And I find that this works really, really well. And then I'm going to go over it with liquid glue onto this back piece here and sandwich it all together, and it will hold nicely, and it can be used, as I say, I would attach it to a present as a tag, and then the person could always use it as a decoration for their Christmas tree as well. So I just thought that that was a fun way to kind of use both pieces of my card. So here is my base for my card, which is cut from the same red cardstock that I've used in the background of my shaker piece here. And I've stamped out a sentiment from the Inside Holiday Greeting stamp set from Pawsome Stamps, which is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just using some liquid glue to adhere my card front to my card base and make sure everything is down securely. And that is it. My card and little tag are complete. And I just think these are so cute and so fun. I really hope you enjoyed this one today. Please do hop along with us at Team Tiny November 2022 Hop. You can follow the link in my description below. Please give this one a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you come back again. And please feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.